Alright, I am back here today with another match of standard Bogles, and this is just a one-off kind of match here. I am wanting to see a couple of things on this deck, a couple changes I made, and just kind of get a feel for it. We're getting ready to go into Dominaria Standard. There's some cards I'm kind of wanting to see if I maybe want to switch out. There's also some changes I made, like the addition of this card right here, Slippery Scoundrel, that I'm interested in just kind of seeing how they work. I also want to see if Cartouche of Knowledge, I'm going to kind of play it and imagine it's an Arcane Flight. That's a new card being released in Dominaria if you're not familiar. Arcane Flight is just 1 mana for the same effect, you know, +1/+1 and flying, but without drawing a card. So I'm going to kind of judge the situation and see if drawing that card is really amazing for me, would be amazing for me at the time, if I would rather have it 1 mana cheaper, just kind of get an idea, because that's been a big question mark for me of what really do I want there, you know. So let's see. So I got to drop Legion's Landing here first turn, as you noticed. I'm thinking here I can either play Vanguard or I can play SRAM. I think SRAM is just the right choice. Just start getting some card advantage right off the bat here. Going to go ahead and swing in for 1 with my Vampire. They have Plains and Arch of Erazka, so not honestly sure what they're playing here. While I really enjoy playing Standard, and it is my favorite format to play, I don't watch it all that much. You know, I don't watch a ton of streams of it. I watch some here or there, but I'm not always extremely familiar with what's going on in Standard and what some of the big cards are. I'm a little bit more familiar with Modern just in terms of decks because it's what I really enjoy watching. But I'm hoping that starting doing streams here and this kind of stuff is really going to make me more knowledgeable about Standard. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play an island. I will play Cartouche of Solidarity first. Let's see, I actually think I could attach it to my Vanguard and have some kind of built-in protection there. But if I attach it to something here, you know, my Vampire, I do have a dive down in hand to keep it safe, so I think I'm actually going to go there. Get to draw a card off of SRAM and get a Vampire Aspirant. I kind of really like that because it's going to let me play a 1 mana spell while keeping up dive down for any removal. I know they only really have a Plains in play right now, but that could still lead to some enchantment removal, like some of these cast outs that they've just been cycling through here. So hopefully this will possibly let me have them just kind of blank on a spell for the next turn. And Aspirant is just a fine card in and of itself. We're relatively close to getting the City's Blessing. And having the City's Blessing is something that makes Slippery Scoundrel so great. Because not only is it unblockable, so it's a great place to put my auras, but it also has hexproof, which, of course, even better than Vanguard, just makes it nearly indestructible. Okay, so I'm still not sure what plan they're on here. It looks like they might be having a very slow start. I'm going to go ahead and put my Cartouche on something else here before I attack, just to get as much value as possible. I'll put it on my Warrior, just because it has Vigilance, in case they do end up playing something here. I mean, maybe this is like the blue-white approach deck. Playing a Meandering River, which is kind of unusual. You would traditionally just play Irrigated Farmland there, but there are some budget options, I suppose. Some budget concerns. Alright, so Cartouche of Knowledge is really great here. And this is one of those places where I actually, I do believe it's fine to have this over Arcane Flight. You know, I'm going to have the extra mana available pretty much regardless of where I go with my turn here. So I think this is okay. Well, let's see. I'm going to attack him with all my creatures. Flip my Legion's Landing, so that's actually going to give me access to an extra mana here. And in this case, if it would be 1 mana, you know, with Arcane Flight, I'd be able to play the Vanguard, play it, and hold up. I could have played it pre-combat and held up the dive down. But in this case, I'm going to play both and tap out, which I think is okay. I have enough of a board that one removal spell is not going to just ruin me. So I either play the Slippery Scoundrel. Yeah, I think at this point it's fine just to play the Vanguard and the Cartouche here. No. I'm just going to play Slippery Scoundrel. Hold up a blue mana for dive down. Not that I really think I'm going to need dive down, but Slippery Scoundrel is going to offer me the same advantage pretty much as a Danto Vanguard here. And Cartouche can be played next turn just as well as it can this turn. Going to Field of Ruin my flipped land, which I should have saw coming. That's okay. I will dig out. I'm going to get an island here. I don't think it's actually really going to matter which way I go with that. This doesn't really seem like a game where the Adanto something would have made a huge impact. It is important to know that this comes in untapped, so that's actually going to give me the chance to just go ahead and play Vanguard. And like I said a minute ago, I have enough creatures that dive down. And protecting one of mine is not a huge concern. I'm pretty sure I'm just kind of winning regardless here. Okay. So another Cartouche, which looks pretty solid. I'm going to go ahead and just add up some stuff here. Why not? Let's just start equipping. I do have to potentially be concerned about Settle the Wreckage, so I don't want to attack with everything. Even though attacking with everything seems like the obvious, oh, I'm just going to smash in and win the game here. They do have Settle the Wreckage mana held up, and I want to be aware of that. So I'm going to put this other Cartouche on something else. Let's go with the Danto Vanguard. And I'm just going to attack in with enough creatures to do exactly 7 damage, or right around 7 damage. I'm not going to attack in with more than I need to, just so I can make sure that I don't make that mistake of going all in and just kind of taking the greedy route for no reason. So I'll get 4 damage here, and then I would need to attack with another 2 creatures. So I'm just kind of going to go with my ones that aren't doing a lot for me at this point. All of these have some keywords that I kind of want to keep. And then SRAM is drawing me cards, but I'm kind of out of auras by this point, right? So I'm just going to attack in like this. Yeah, it looks like we are getting Settle the Wreckage here. Yep. But that is okay. Of course, Dive Down is not going to help me in this situation because, Settle the Wreckage does not actually target anything. But I have drawn into some nice cards to keep my board up and going. You know, I have Sacred Cat and Legion's Landing here, so I'm going to get to play both of these. Get myself 2 more 1/1 lifelink creatures on the board. Just continue building pressure. With as many cards as they have in hand, I do think there's potential that they're holding up a second Settle the Wreckage here, which would be very unfortunate, but we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to play this Cartouche on one of my 2/2s, making it a 3/3. That way I only have to attack him with 3 creatures this turn instead of 4. So I'm just going to put this on my Slippery Scoundrel. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think it matters a ton. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with Slippery Scoundrel, and then these two guys. Actually, I'll attack with... no, this is fine. It doesn't really matter that much. Transform Legion's Landing. So I just keep generating these creatures. So even if I do get blown out with another Settle the Wreckage, I'll still be fine next turn here. Which we do see. There is number 2. Alright. Pretty soon I'm going to be out of lands in my library. I do believe I have never actually gotten this many lands on the battlefield before, so I'm a little impressed. What do I have, like 11, 12 lands, something like that? This is just absurd. Alright, so I'm going to pass the turn. I don't think I have any embalmed creatures here. No, I don't. So I'll pass the turn, make a vampire on instep, just to play around, fumigate, or anything like that. Okay, so that's our instep. Activated Danto. Let's really hope they don't have a third Settle the Wreckage in a row here. That would be unfortunate, but let's see how this goes. Now I am going to have to attack in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I only have 6 damage on board here. So this sounds a little weird, but I think I'm only going to attack in with 1 creature, with just my warrior. That way I get him to 5 and get him within range of killing him next turn. Yeah, I think this is okay. Because I don't really have any reason to expose all of my creatures to dying on Settle the Wreckage. And next turn I'll be able to attack in and just get the job done, hopefully. With, again, not using all of my creatures. Because I'll be able to hold 2 back next turn, I believe. Okay, so they're glimmering. I think they're pretty much out of options here. I can't fathom... they're glimmering my instep. I didn't even notice. For some reason, I thought they were glimmering on main phase. But, so it's possible they find something here. It looks like they put a card on the bottom and put a card on top. So they found something they liked. And Fumigate is it. So, I'm going to lose all of these guys. I still get to make a 1/1 at the end of my turn. Alright. So, I only have, like, I think 2 lands left in my deck. Of course, I drew one of them. That's just how it goes, unfortunately. But I'll get to attack in here. I'll get to animate the Sacred Cat out of my graveyard. And then I'll be able to activate a Danto on their instep, being able to attack in for 3 next turn. It really is impressive to me how Settle the Wreckage has kind of turned the tides of this game. I still feel like I'm in an okay spot, but my goodness, it has just been crazy. Okay, so this is not actually targeting anything yet, so I have to wait for that to enter the battlefield to target something for me to play Dive Down. Okay. Alright, so they're targeting this. I'm going to go ahead and Dive Down it. Alright, and on instep, be sure I make one of these guys. I've forgotten to do that enough times over the last couple of days that I've become a little bit more particular with making sure that happens. So they only have 3 mana up here. That's a really great sign. That means no Settle the Wreckage. Hopefully there's nothing I'm just kind of forgetting about that could blow out some creatures here. But getting to play Cartouche of Knowledge and then draw another card, it seems like it's going to be pretty helpful for me. So this is going to take me up to 4 damage I'll be able to deal. Hopefully this card I draw is going to be something pretty impactful. Alright, so they're just going to play a negate here or something? What are we going to see? Disallow? Admiral's Orders. Okay, yeah, so it's just a 3-mana hard counter. That's okay. It was only 1 damage, and a card would have been nice, but I'm still getting to attack in for 3 damage without fear of something cracking back at me. Be able to hopefully move that up to attacking him with 4 next turn by activating the Adanto. Potentially I can find something off the top to help me get to enough damage. I'm not sure if I have anything in the deck to do that in 1 turn, but okay. Instep, activate. Worth noting, they are in fact holding up enough for Settle the Wreckage. They should only have 2 left in their deck, but you never know. So I'm going to go ahead and attack in. Now there's no real reason for me to attack in with all 4. I believe I just need to attack in with 2 here. If I attack in with 2, I play Slippery Scoundrel, activate this, then on my next turn I should hopefully have them low enough to where they're in danger. I probably should have attacked him with 3, but it's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and play Slippery Scoundrel. And that gets Essence Scattered, unfortunately. But with them at 4 and being able to activate Adanto, I still hopefully will be able to attack in for lethal next turn. And hopefully avoid another Settle the Wreckage. Alright, Supreme Will. So they're getting to dig deep here. It's possible they're going to find a Fumigate, which would be pretty rough for me. Alright, going to Instep. As always, they got me scared of the Settle the Wreckage. But I believe I'm safe to attack in with 4 here, try to get the job done, and if it does happen, follow it up with SRAM, have 1 of these left over, and be able to activate Adanto still. Just gonna swing in with all my vampires here. Is this number 3? It looks like it. Yep. Alright. Get the last 2 remaining basics left in my deck. Play SRAM. And then I'll be able to activate this to still have 4 power going in next turn, except this is going to get countered as well. That's less than ideal. So I'm sure this is all just working its way up to casting Approach of the Second Sun. They are still only at, well, they're just now at 7 mana. So they can cast it now if they choose to, which they are. So that's going to put it down 7 from the top, take them back up to 11. And to see how fast they can draw this. They don't have much on the field other than the Arch here, which can only actually be activated if they get the City's Blessing. Just kind of depends on what they draw into here to see if they get a Supreme Will or something like that and search for Esconta that they can flip pretty quickly maybe. Even one of those blue lands that mill the cards off the top of your deck seems like it would be pretty good. A very grindy game here for us. Wow. So they had another one in hand. So they're playing multiples in the deck and they were just waiting to get to 7 mana. That's unfortunate. but it's how it goes. So on to sideboarding. Gonna have to make these pretty quick games because that game one was pretty long and arduous here. So I'm going to dip into my sideboard. I'm definitely bringing in these 3 negates. I took the Spell Pierces out of the sideboard just because I wasn't doing a lot with them and I wasn't sure if they were necessary. You know, they're probably pretty good. I'm sure they're pretty good. But I decided to just try out a couple other things. So I'm going to take out things that I think are just going to slow me down a little bit. So I don't actually think Slippery Scoundrel is probably going to be that good in this matchup, nor is SRAM's Expertise. SRAM's Expertise just seems a little slow for me. Slippery Scoundrel, while the Hexproof can still be important because of their auras and stuff, the Unblockable really is a complete pointless line of text in this matchup. I want to bring in things that are a little bit cheaper to play, so I'm considering trying out this Snubhorn Sentry. Usually we have this in here to help out with the toughness, being 3 toughness, 0-3, blocks pretty well in these first couple of turns, and it still gets a big bump whenever you get City's Blessing. And I think I'm going to try this out here. It can play for me in the early game. It can play for me in the late game by getting that big power bump. So let's try this out. Effectively, I just want these matches to go as quickly as possible. Of course, I will like to play first. This opening hand looks pretty great. Adanto Vanguard is a card that can protect itself. Not really against their deck, I guess, because a lot of times they have the cast out and the auras that they're using. But we're going to go all in on this, and we're going to hope for the best. You know, theoretically, by turn 3, it's attacking for 6 damage, I believe. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, yeah. And then I'll have 2 other creatures on board. Alright. Play a Plains and pass. A second Adanto Vanguard is very nice here. I actually like that quite a bit. So next turn, I will probably not just be playing 2 of these auras. I'll probably be playing a second Vanguard and then one of them on my Vanguard that's already on the field. And then I can play out the other 2 auras on turn 4. Now it is important to notice they're holding up Censor and Essence Scatter mana here. So I'm going to play a land, and then I believe I'm going to go with Curious Obsession, actually, just so I can try to draw into some more cards. Because it's giving me the same boost as one of these would give me, but it is it's not giving me the 1/1 Vigilance token, but I think that'll be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and attack in with this. Get to draw my card. A SRAM. A SRAM is actually really great here. I'm going to definitely be playing this instead of Adanto Vanguard and hope that they are not going to censor it or Essence Scatter it. I actually think I just wait till next turn. I think it's risky. I think they really have to have something here. Yeah, that's what I figured. So hopefully that ran out. They're only, you know, Essence Scatter in their hand or something, and I'll be able to play SRAM next turn safely. That's the goal. I don't know how likely that's actually going to be, but... Okay, a second Plains is actually perfect for me. It keeps SRAM out of Censor range, and still getting to play one of these, and also lets me play one of my white cartouches, or the blue cartouche if I want, with him. Alright, let's see if this gets countered. Looks like it's going to. Yeah, Admiral's Orders. Unfortunate, but I can go ahead and play out a little bit more on my Adanto Vanguard here. The question is whether I want to give him flying or get another token on board. And I actually think I'm going to go for the token. Maybe bluff a dive down here. And just that's because, like I said, I'm trying to go fast with this match. Try to get as much damage on board and much long-lasting damage as possible. And I can play this cartouche next turn and get the draw off of it and still be able to utilize that draw on the same turn as I'm playing it. Okay, perfect. Got him down to 10. Still only on 3 mana for our opponent. Going to be able to play both of these next turn. Going to be drawing 2 cards next turn, hopefully at least, as long as nothing happens when I cast the cartouche. Alright. It is important to note they still do not have up Settle the Wreckage mana, because they only have 1 white source. Alright, so I'm going to play this first. I'm going to put it over here just to spread out some of my threats. Okay, so there's a negate. They do have the potential to be holding up another negate or another spell like this, but I'm going to go ahead and run this out here. I'm going to get to attack in for 7, take them to 3. I'm going to play the Sky Marcher Aspirant post-combat after I get to draw my other card to make sure it is, in fact, what I want to play. Oh, that is actually really great here. I think I'm going to be playing Legion's Landing instead of Sky Marcher Aspirant in case they're holding up Essence Scatter. Alright. I think it would be difficult for me to lose from this position. Granted, I said that last turn. Last game, I should say. But they would have to find a white mana and have multiple Settle the Wreckages. So there's the white mana, but next turn, of course, I'm only going to be attacking in with 1 creature because I only have to deal the 2 damage. So it's going to be several turns here where we're going to be able to go with having to have Settle the Wreckage to kind of stop me. Go ahead and enter combat. Just going to attack with this guy. So it looks like they do have it. May have been their only way out of this, having to do this on a singular token. Yep. I'm not actually going to cast both of these this turn. I'm just going to play the cat, because if they have Fumigate or something like that on next turn, I would like to still be able to play these out. And the reason I'm playing the cat is because, of course, I'd be able to embalm that next turn, so I'm not actually losing it. Alright, so this is another turn where I'm just going to be attacking in with 1 creature. And I believe that is going to be Adanto Vanguard, just because otherwise I would lose 2. Yeah, let's do it. Fun fact, Curious Obsession does not actually have to be attached to the creature that attacks this turn. I did not know that, because it just kind of came to my mind a moment ago that I didn't attack with Adanto last turn, and Curious Obsession is still on there. But apparently it is just a creature you control, and that is not something I knew. I thought I had just misplayed that and screwed up. But alright, so I got that game. We're going to go to sideboarding. I like my deck the way it is. I don't really think I'm going to change anything here. I didn't see anything in that match that makes me want to change anything. So I'm just going to stay on this real quick all-in plan and hope it works. Alright, as much as I like the individual cards in this hand, 3 Legion's Landings is absurd. I only have a blue mana. I cannot keep it. And this hand does not really look any better with absolutely no creatures. As much as I hate it, I am going to be mulling the 5 here. Does not look good, but we're going to keep. We can't go below 5, and I definitely will keep that on top, because that's not a bad card at all. Alright, I'm going to lead with the Sky Marcher Aspirant. Just because playing this later on opens up their ability to play Essence Scatters, when Legion's Landing doesn't really do that. I mean, this has the chance to get negated, but I don't know, I feel like there's a better chance that they're running 4 Essence Scatters over 4 negates. Probably a Search coming down here. Yep. Just going to let them filter their draws a bit. Okay, so there's blue mana. I could hold up negate, but I don't really see any reason to do that on the second, third turn here. I can't imagine anything they're going to be playing on turn 3. You know, turn 4, 5, Settle the Wreckage, Fumigate. Things like that are stuff I'm a lot more scared of than something they could be playing now. So I'll just play Legion's Landing post-combat, get to my second creature here, and hope that I top deck a creature or something, an enchantment or aura, that'll let me get in either a little bit more damage or get a third creature on board to hopefully flip the landing in a turn or two. There is a lot you can learn off of Search for Azcanta with cards they put in the graveyard and cards they go ahead and draw, because they're not valuing Admiral's Orders very highly. So it means either they feel like they have a bigger plan than countering a random spell here or there, or something that something to that effect. You know, it's kind of like if you see them put a Settle the Wreckage in there, you know they probably already have one of those in hand, you know, because they're just declining to have multiple. Not that I think they're ever going to throw Settle the Wreckage away. Unfortunately, this match is starting off a lot slower than I would like. Gonna have to get something going here if I want a real shot at this. Alright, so they are holding up Settle the Wreckage mana. I don't know if I would really cast Negate. I would have to cast Negate on Settle the Wreckage at this point in the game, I think. I would just get too far behind if I didn't. Especially because I will be able to flip Legion's Landing next turn by attacking with all 3, and flipping Legion's Landing, I believe, is very important in this match. So go ahead and play the Aspirant. Play a Plains, and still have enough mana to hold up Negate. Okay, so they were going to play a counter there, and then opted not to. So that's going to keep me wary of playing creatures in the future, because you saw the little thing over here saying paying cost. That's kind of like whenever you're playing in real life and you see your opponent say, wait, in response, no, I'm going to hold off, you know. So they're valuing that Glimmer of Genius over not having that Sky Marcher on the field. again, really makes me believe this negate is an important card to have in my hand, because my guess would be that they believed by letting it resolve, they're going to settle the wreckage next turn, and I'll be able to just negate that. Or fumigate next turn, possibly. So he put both cards on top of his library from Glimmer. That is absolutely terrifying. Regal Caracal, not a card I can negate here, and also a very strong card against me. So that is very unfortunate for me right now. Okay. I can play Sheffet Dunes, get my creatures bigger. I have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 permanents. I have to get 2 more permanents on the field to get flying now. Yeah, I just don't think I have very many good options here. I can't even flip Legion's Landing without just getting my stuff eaten. So I think I just pass. This is the exact type of card I really was not wanting to see. I felt confident I could play around just about anything else, but that is not good for me. They threw away Farm to Market. Opting not to attack in here and play on defense, which I think is reasonable. Baffling End. I would have to negate it now before they even choose a target. But next turn I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 permanents. Get the City's Blessing and actually be able to attack in for some damage. And flip Legion's Landing. I actually think negating is the right call here, so that I can get that City's Blessing. Oh, but they're going to counter my counter. Yep, that is crappy. Alright, that's how it goes. That's probably going to lose me the match, because I would have been able to attack in for these at least 4 in the air and up to 6 if I wanted to off of activating Sheffet Dunes, which I think may have just been a pretty good swing in my favor. But now I imagine that's probably a lost dream. And it would have allowed me to flip the Legion's Landing by sacrificing my vampire on the ground. I'm running pretty low on time here. I've been doing a lot of thinking in this match and a lot of commentating, so I've spent a little bit more time on the clock than I probably should have. But I'm sure this match is going to get resolved in time. Oh gosh, another Regal Caracal is just... That's definitely going to do the game in for me. I don't think there's anything I could even fathom that would come back from this for me. I'll go ahead and see what I draw next turn, but this is definitely just going to be it. Because they're gaining 6 life here alone. No, actually, both of the Regals have lifelink now because of each other. So that's going to be it. I'm going to go ahead and concede this. This was pretty unfortunate. I felt good about those games, and then that first one just turned on me really quickly. So, but I'll learn, though. I do believe this kind of showed me a lot, a little bit about how I feel about the deck going forward, and whether or not I want to keep Cartouche of Knowledge over Arcane Flight. There was a situation or two where I think that it would have been helpful to have the 1 mana instead of 2, but for the most part, I really do believe the card draw is just too important in this deck with as quick as you run out of cards. One other thing that I am looking into with this deck going into Dominaria Standard is splashing red in it for some of the equipment and aura synergized creatures that they're offering. So you'll probably see me make a video here soon about the possibility of that and the cards I'm interested in adding in. So once Dominaria drops and I can actually get those cards in hand on the game, I'll make a video showing kind of what I'm looking at, kind of the ideas that I'm getting. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.